Matt Hoffman. Okay, we're going to talk about the oak that's used for Garryanna.
Yeah, so this is the Quercus Garryanna oak tree. So this is the Pacific Northwest's only native species of white oak that you can use to assemble into a cask.
Okay.
And there's really not that many, globally, there's not that many species of oak that can be used to actually manufacture a cask.
Okay.
So the fact that there's this one that's never been used before for whiskey, and it's right here in our backyard, is pretty fantastic. But it only grows in this small range here. So this is just a little bit into British Columbia, around the cities of Victoria and Vancouver, down through Seattle where we are here now, Portland, Oregon, and then it's almost reaching San Francisco, but not quite.
Not quite, okay.
But it's this little tiny piece of land, and it doesn't even go all the way to the coast. You know, there's mountains here. Over here it's too wet, and then here's the big mountain range, the Cascades here. Over there it's too dry. So it's just like, 60-mile wide strip of land. And it's only at 5% of its former habitat. You can actually see this here. So this is Oregon. Yeah. So this is the Willamette Valley of Oregon. This is what it was like in 1850, and this is what it was like in 2017.
Wow. Very few
most of it's gone.
Left, right?
Yeah. So we're sourcing, when we source this oak, it all has to come down naturally, what we call wind blow.
Oh.
So the trees have to come down naturally. We can't cut them. In most jurisdictions in the Northwest, the trees are protected.
I see.
So they have to come down naturally. But we're also working on replanting effort for these trees.
Sure.
Not for us. We don't own the trees or the land.
It's going to take about 80 or 100 years?
120 years before you could harvest one.
Wow.
But just to kind of try to build this back up to where
for
it
the
used
future
to be.
generations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible flavor profile that you get out of that oak. Quercus alba gives you caramel and vanilla, coconut, and baking spices. So this is going to give you something different. Instead of caramel, it's more like molasses. Instead of generic baking spices, it's more like heavy clove.
Heavy clove, okay.
There's a lot of like dark fruits, blackberry jam, and I got like blueberry syrup or blueberry ice cream.
So how do you discern that from the oak? How much is that coming from the oak, and how much is that coming from the malting? That must be something.
I have a sample I could probably show you side by side, where it's the same barley,
right?
And pure, because this is not pure Garryanna oak.
Okay.
Garryanna oak is very powerful. I'll give you a taste of a cask sample or something from it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very powerful. And then that's all you can taste is the oak. Some people like that, and some people don't. For us, we want people to be able to taste the barley too.
Yeah.
Like that's very important for us.
Exactly, of course.
So even in a whiskey that is ostensibly focused on the oak, we still want people to be able to taste the barley. So.
And this is probably about 2 years old, a little bit
of
3.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you're able to age it so fast. I know you explained to me once with that when you needed 9 hands.
There's no tricks. We don't do any artificial maturation conditions at all. So our warehouse is not temperature controlled or humidity controlled. It's just the ambient climate.
And where's the warehouse? Is it here? Or?
In the here near Grace Harbor, Washington. So we're here in Seattle. It's about a 2-hour drive
from here.
So it's closer to the ocean. You have more humidity than you'd have here in Seattle, which already has a lot of humidity on its own. But it never gets really hot. So it's relatively hot right now here in Seattle for Seattle.
Yeah, and it's very dry also, actually, right?
So if it's, let's say if it's 90 degrees in Seattle, it'll probably be 75 in Hoquiam, where we store these casks.
I see, okay.
So it never gets very hot, never gets very cold, never freezes, never snows out there.
Okay.
It's a very temperate climate. It's very much like Western Scotland.
Okay.
So, and we don't use any small casks. We don't use any oak chips, no spirals, none of that.
Right.
It's all just high quality wood. It's all about the raw ingredients. Ultimately.
Right.
A lot of distilleries don't care about the quality of the raw ingredients, which is, to me, just nuts, because you only got 4 raw ingredients, right? I mean, malt, yeast, water, casks, peat, if you want to count that as a 5th ingredient.
I think that should be, right?
Yeah.
Peat? Because with the Washington peat that you're trying to...
of course. But in this whiskey, in this one that you've got there, that's only 4. We don't have any peated malt.
Peat in there, yeah.
So everything that we use for this is all air-dried oak, just like our American oak expression. That's 18 to 24 months of air drying for the American oak.
Okay.
This, 36 months of air drying.
Wow.
And that air drying breaks down a lot of the really unpleasant flavors that can come in oak.
Yeah. Now, what would that be?
Unpleasant. Kind of resinous and bitter notes.
Okay.
And particularly like Also, oaky aroma, like
Okay.
the aroma of oak, can break down a little bit more. So when you air dry oak, it really, really softens it. You kind of just get the flavors you want, none of the really negative flavors that you can get with kiln dried oak. But that's a pretty rare thing in the whiskey business. And then the other thing is just make high quality distillate.
36 months. I don't think I've heard anyone aging or dry aging for 30 months. Does anybody else do it?
It's the longest, to the best of our knowledge, it's the longest minimum air drying time for any white oak in the world.
Wow.
So, and it was actually, who wrote the original white paper for it was Dr. Jim Swan. You know Dr. Jim Swan?
I heard of him. I don't know him personally, but
yeah,
yes.
he just passed away actually a few months ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And but he was kind of like, he was the guy.
Gold standard for this, yeah.
Globally, like if you were starting a malt whiskey distillery, I'm pretty sure, let's see, Cavalon, he was a consultant for Cavalon, he was a consultant for, God, you name it, like any malt whiskey distillery
No,
outside of
I
Scotland.
actually now I know that there were some articles and stuff going on. When he passed away,
Right.
that's a big loss. Yeah,
He
certainly.
was the guy who wrote the original white paper for this Garryanna Oak.
Oh.
And I didn't know that. I remember reading it back when we started using it in 2011, but I didn't know who he was at the time.
Right.
And then I just stumbled back on that paper just as a coincidence a couple weeks after his passing.
Oh.
And what a
Yeah,
coincidence.
you would have loved to connect with him,
man,
and what that would have been such a fascinating
but he-
meeting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely would have. But at least, he did write about it. He wrote
Yeah.
a paper on it, which is very, very interesting.
Right.
Talks about the air drying process, but the flavors that can come out of it, and how different it is from American oak.
Right.
And that was pretty cool. That we got that at least.
Cool. Yeah. So what else is going on? So this is superb, and.